On August 5th, 2022, Kiely Rodni spent the evening preparing to attend what was supposed to be a casual end-of-summer gathering near Truckee. She had just finished her sophomore year and was looking forward to a night with friends before school resumed. That evening, she drove her silver 2013 Honda CR-V to the Prosser family campground, located near Prosser Creek Reservoir. The location was known among local teenagers as a spot for informal parties, especially during the summer months. When Kiely arrived around 6:30 p.m., the atmosphere was still calm. Small groups were gathered around parked cars, music played at a moderate volume, and there was no immediate sign of anything unusual. Witnesses later described Kiely as relaxed and social. She moved between different groups, spoke with friends, and appeared comfortable in the environment. Nothing about her behavior suggested that this night would end any differently from the many gatherings that had taken place there before. As the night progressed, the party began to grow rapidly. By late evening, the number of people had increased significantly, with estimates later suggesting that more than 200 individuals were present. The atmosphere shifted as more cars arrived, music grew louder, and alcohol became more visible. Many attendees were underage, and supervision was minimal. According to multiple witness statements collected later by the Placer County Sheriff's Office, Kiely continued to socialize throughout the night. Some people recalled seeing her near her vehicle, while others said she spent time near the water. At around 12:30 a.m. on August 6th, Kiely sent a text message to her mother. In that message, she said she planned to leave the party in about 45 minutes and would be heading home. It was a simple message, one that did not raise concern at the time. But it would become the last confirmed communication anyone received from her. After that moment, her phone either powered off or lost connection. From that point forward, her movements became unclear. In the early hours of August 6th, the party began to break up. Some attendees left gradually, while others remained into the early morning. Despite the large number of people present, no one could later provide a clear, consistent account of Kiely's departure. One of her close friends stated that Kiely appeared to have been drinking but did not seem heavily impaired. Another witness claimed to have seen her near her car after midnight, possibly preparing to leave. However, there were no confirmed sightings of her actually driving away from the campground. The lack of clarity became one of the earliest challenges in the investigation. In cases involving large gatherings, it is often difficult to establish precise timelines, and this situation was no different. The environment, combined with darkness and the number of people, made it nearly impossible to determine exactly when Kiely was last seen. When Kiely did not return home the next morning, her family quickly realized something was wrong. By the afternoon of August 6th, she was officially reported missing. The response from the Placer County Sheriff's Office was immediate. Given her age and the circumstances, authorities treated the case as a priority. Search operations began almost immediately in and around the campground area. Deputies interviewed partygoers, collected contact information, and attempted to piece together a timeline of events. Helicopters were deployed to scan the surrounding terrain, while K-9 units searched for any trace of Kiely on foot. Dive teams were also brought in to examine nearby bodies of water, including sections of Prosser Creek Reservoir. Despite these efforts, there were no immediate signs of her or her vehicle. As the search expanded over the following days, additional agencies joined the effort. The Federal Bureau of Investigation assisted with digital analysis, attempting to recover data from Kiely's phone and track any possible movements. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage from nearby roads, gas stations, and businesses in the Truckee area. They looked for any sign of her Honda CR-V leaving the campground. However, no confirmed footage of her vehicle was identified. This absence of evidence created further uncertainty. If Kiely had left the party, there should have been some indication of her movement on nearby roads, but there was nothing that clearly showed her leaving the area. This raised the possibility that she may never have left the campground at all. At the same time, witness interviews continued to present challenges. Some individuals provided helpful details, while others gave conflicting or incomplete accounts. Investigators noted that alcohol use at the party may have affected people's memories of the night. Inconsistent timelines made it difficult to determine exactly who saw Kiely last. Some witnesses reported seeing her near the water, while others insisted she remained closer to the parking area. There were also reports that some attendees left the scene quickly once news of the investigation spread, which added another layer of difficulty. Law enforcement urged anyone who had attended the party to come forward with information, emphasizing that even small details could be important. Despite these appeals, no single account was able to clearly explain what happened to Kiely after her final text message. As days passed without answers, the case began to attract national attention. Media coverage increased, and thousands of volunteers joined the search effort. Large sections of land surrounding Prosser Creek Reservoir were combed on foot. Search teams used boats, drones, and sonar equipment to scan the water. The scale of the operation grew significantly, with law enforcement coordinating efforts across multiple jurisdictions. Despite these extensive searches, Kiely and her vehicle remained missing. The lack of physical evidence became one of the most troubling aspects of the case. In many missing person investigations involving vehicles, debris or tracks are eventually located. In this case, there was nothing that clearly indicated where her car had gone. During this period, investigators explored multiple possible scenarios. One theory was that Kiely may have attempted to drive home while impaired and accidentally entered the reservoir. The terrain around the campground includes narrow dirt roads, uneven surfaces, and areas where visibility can be limited at night. Another possibility involved foul play, given the size of the party and the number of unknown individuals present. While authorities did not publicly confirm any evidence of criminal activity, they did not immediately rule it out either. The uncertainty surrounding these possibilities contributed to ongoing speculation. Online communities began analyzing the case in detail, often focusing on specific witness statements or perceived inconsistencies. Law enforcement repeatedly cautioned against spreading unverified information, stressing that speculation could interfere with the investigation. More than 2 weeks after Kiely disappeared, a volunteer dive team known as Adventures with Purpose arrived in the area to assist with the search. The group specialized in locating missing vehicles and bodies of water using sonar technology. On August 21, 2022, they began scanning sections of Prosser Creek Reservoir that had already been searched by other teams. Within a short period of time, their equipment detected an object submerged in approximately 14 feet of water, not far from the shoreline near the campground. Divers entered the water to investigate. What they found was Kiely's Honda CR-V. The vehicle was upside down, resting on the bottom of the reservoir. Inside the vehicle, they located a body. Later that day, authorities confirmed that the body was Kiely Rodni. The discovery brought an end to the search, but it also raised new questions. The location of the vehicle was relatively close to the party site, which led many to wonder how it had not been found earlier. Investigators examined the condition of the car and the surrounding area to determine how it had entered the water. According to official findings, there was no evidence of a collision with another vehicle. The placement of the car suggested that it had driven into the reservoir. However, the exact circumstances remained unclear. It was not immediately known whether Kiely had been alone in the vehicle or whether anyone else had been present at any point. An autopsy later concluded that Kiely's cause of death was drowning. Toxicology reports indicated the presence of alcohol and other substances in her system. Based on the available evidence, investigators determined that the incident was most consistent with an accidental entry into the water. The case was eventually closed without any charges being filed. However, for many people who followed the investigation, certain aspects remained difficult to fully understand. The absence of clear witness confirmation of her departure, the delay in locating the vehicle, and the complexity of the environment all contributed to ongoing questions. Even with an official conclusion, the timeline of her final moments was never fully reconstructed in a way that satisfied everyone. The case of Kiely Rodni continues to stand out because of how much was known and how much remained uncertain at the same time. A large party with hundreds of people, a funnel text message that suggested she was about to leave, a vehicle found underwater not far from where the night began. These details form a story that seems straightforward on the surface, yet still leaves room for doubt. In the end, one question continues to stand out above all others. In a place filled with people, how did no one see what happened in those final moments?